External Affairs Ministry intervened and the program is not taking place. So their loss was my gain, and knowing that just before arriving in Bhagyanagar, Ravi Ranjan Singh ji with about 200 people led a protest, actually a support protest for Israel in Delhi to submit a letter which was written in blood to the Israeli embassy. And as is the case, they were detained, some of them were arrested. This was on the same day when the JNU protest for support, the support march at JNU was happening for Palestine. The people here, his team, got arrested, detained for taking out the protest march. But then, as I said, thank you, Raviji. Why don't you please come on to the dais? Raviji is the founder member of Friends of Jews, Friends of Jews and Israel, and works very, very closely with some people in Israel, trying to share their experiences, our knowledge, and our experiences with them, so that we are prepared. I will come back to why we need to be prepared as I talk later, but then yes, I am very specifically with the purpose using the word that so that we are prepared. So kindly please take your seat. Ravi Ranjan ji, most of you would know, has been Among Talk's guest speaker earlier too, and he has spoken, he leads the fight against the halal economy. He calls it halalonomics. And he's a front runner against the halalonomics and runs the Chatka certification body. All of this he does from New Delhi. Our next very distinguished speaker is Dr. Hanuman Chaudhary ji, publishing awardee, exceptionally 80 plus year young. 92. But I thought he was 87. Okay, 92 plus 2 days young. It's always an honor to listen to Dr. Chaudhary. He is a walking, talking encyclopedia. Lots of times when I'm at or around his house, I would take the liberty of going, sitting with him, listening to him. I mean, and every time I have been to his house, I've only seen him read. Read, and read more. And write too. Yes, and write too. So, thank you so much, Chaudhary Garu, for accepting our request to speak at such a short notice today. Our third speaker is Cherufu Rambabu Garu. He's an activist, a supporter of Dharma. He calls himself a Dharma Prachara. I asked him that, tell me what is it that I should refer to you as when the poster was getting prepared, and he said just call me Dharma Prachara. So he is, apart from the work that he does, he is an entrepreneur. Apart from what he does, he is dedicating the rest of his life and time to serve the cause of Dharma. Thank you so much, Rambabu Garu, for supporting me. I have seen you always in the Among Talks programs, just that you slowly seem to emerge. You know, every time I look at my audience and I'm like, oh, this person, I see him every time in the program. But I may not know the name, but I know that there's so many people who are supporting the work that they do. And Rambabu Garu is one of them. So we will start now. We have this program going live. There will be people watching us from all across. There are people watching us from Israel too. Ravi Ranjan ji has alerted certain organizations there who would be listening to us. In that context, I would request that we all maintain decorum and also civility in the language, and also be cautious that we are being watched by the world. I will take my seat now. A lot of times everybody asks me, why me? Why, have you started the land? Okay. I would say a lot of times people, even my own children, my son asks me, what's with you, Mama? Are you some kind of an extremist? What are you doing? You know, today's children, today's generation, US educated, US employed, they think that this is out of the bounds for a normal mother. And I always tell him that I have nightmares, and I do. I have nightmares of me not being anymore in this world, and you running for your life, and some men chasing you just because you don't follow their faith. And that scares the daylight out of me. I want to be able to impact this world and leave a world where you, as my child, are going to be safe. Until such time, we have ideologies that are promoting hate. We have ideologies that are promoting violence. Just because there is a religious taboo that ideology carries against other human beings, I think it's not just Israel, it's the rest of the world that is fighting this ideology. I never believed, I don't believe that the Israel and Palestine conflict is about land. It was never about land. Just as Kashmir and Kashmir's fight was never about land. What we are dealing with is a greater threat. It is not a fight for land. It is a fight for supremacy of a certain ideology over a certain piece of land. And it will be this land, and after that, once this land is conquered, and God forbid, it will not happen, but if ever that land is conquered, then it will be the next land, and the next land, and the next land. I think the world has to rise and awaken from its slumber and stop referring to this strife in Palestine as a fight for fight for land. It is not about land. It is about the supremacy of a religious ideology over a certain people who do not believe in that ideology, and that, I think, is the truth. And that's exactly the fight, I think, that we in India, we as Indians, we as Hindus are also fighting. The civilizational survival struggle that our brothers, sisters, the children in Israel are facing is not any different from the civilizational fight for survival that we as Hindus are facing. Their fight, in fact, I think, is lower, lesser, and newer in its intensity than ours. Our fight has been longer. We have a lot of lessons to learn from Israel, and I think primarily Israel has a lot of lessons to learn from us too. We are the hardy people. We are those people in India, the majority Hindu population, that after years, centuries of subjugation, of genocide after genocide, we have survived and continue to remain the largest democracy, largest majority in this country today. And I think that Israel can learn a lesson or two from us also, because we have to, just as we have to learn from them. It is not easy living your life, waking up each day, knowing that somebody is vying for your blood. Imagine if you were living in Israel. Imagine if you knew that each day your child is going to go out, but you're not sure whether he will return back. And that's only happening because there are certain people who believe that they have a sanction, a religious sanction, to have you exterminated from this world. This is just a context to why I felt that it was extremely important for us to show solidarity with Israel. I personally, as a mother, as a woman, as a citizen of this world, condemn violence of all kinds. I condemn violence against women across the world, whether it is a Palestinian woman or an Israeli woman. I condemn violence against children, whether it is a Palestinian child or an Israeli child. But I do not believe that This war is about land, and I think that Israel needs all the support that we can give because it has as much as a right to survive. The Jewish people have as much as a right to survive as the Muslims do, as the Hindus do, or any other religious denomination does. So I would like to now hand over the mic to Dr. Chaudhary, and I would request Dr. Chaudhary to set the historical context to this strife between Israel and Palestine.
I think I would require the microphone. Are you able to hear me?
For live it is required, sir. For live it is required.
Mic is better. नमस्कार
नमस्कार
आप सब बोलिए नमस्कार
नमस्कार
now good evening good morning etc first lesson that we have to learn to be PhD to say
Namaste.
नमस्कार
and not good morning good afternoon etc etc friends Hamas has been characterized as a terrorist organization by the 27 nation European Union, Japan and several other countries, a terrorist organization. And it has vowed that Israel will be wiped off the face of the earth. It will be wiped off the face of the earth. Now, there was what was called a Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO. It was founded by Arafat, who was born in Egypt. He was a civil engineer and he founded the organization Palestinian Liberation Organization. What is Palestine? In the first century of the Christian era, all the Jews were expelled from what is now called Palestine. It was a Jewish state. Judea and Israel, these were the two kingdoms there. They were dispersed. They were repeatedly rising against the Roman imperial ruler. So Rome thought it is better to disperse them, remove them from the land itself and disperse in all the countries over which Rome was having the overlordship. So that was called the Jewish diaspora in several countries. They were to be eliminated completely by Hitler during the 1930 to 1945 May 7 when he died. So all the Jews were captured from the countries that were conquered by Germany and Italy and they were sent to gas chambers. 6 million, that is 60 lakhs of Jews were thus gas and finished. Now, under Turkey, see the Ottoman Turkish Empire, Turkey was having an empire just like the Mughals were ruling India. Turkey was ruling over vast territory of the North African countries from Morocco to Egypt, all the countries between Central Asia and of course Arabia, etc. Now, in the First World War, all of these people rebelled against Turkey. Turkey is an Islamic country, language Turkish, and whereas Arabs, different race, they are not Turks, their language is Arabic. Origin common was the Islam. Now, under Turkey, this was a province, Palestine was a province. In the First World War, Turkey was defeated, the empire was dismantled. Now, since then, the Jews were wanting to come back to their country, in Palestine. And during the Second World War, there was what was called a Balfour Declaration. Balfour was the foreign minister of the United Kingdom. He said, the British government will consider very agreeably to create a homeland for the Jews that are dispersed all over the world. So they started coming. And by 1947-48, when the Second World War was over, about 1 million people came from all over There were always Palestinians. This is history, brief history of Palestine. The United Nations declared in 1947 to create the two states, the Palestine for the Muslims and Israel for the Jews. 1947 United Nations resolution and Jerusalem as a United Nations mandate. It should not belong either to the Muslims or to the Jews, but it should be a mandate administered by the United Nations. No Muslim country accepted. Operating countries Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Jordan, all of them invaded. But the Jews repelled all of them and their state came into being. But the first resolution that after the establishment of Israel, the Knesset, that is the parliament of Israel, the first resolution that they passed was Ben Gurion was the president, thanking India. Thanking India, the first resolution of the independent state of Israel established in 1948 was to thank India because every other country persecuted. It is only Bharat that gave them safe refuge, and in Matancheri near Cochin, the oldest synagogue remains. It was constructed in the first century AD. The prayer hall, their prayer place, like our temple, is called a synagogue. So the first resolution Ben Gurion passed was thanking India. Then the question came whether India should recognize it or not. In the cabinet, Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad, the education minister, opposed the recognition of Israel by independent India. What was the reason? He said that if we recognize, the Arab countries will be against us. There is what is called a 62-nation Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. 62 Islamic countries. All of them, every year they condemn India for occupying Kashmir. Now it was only P.V. Narasimha Rao who recognized Israel's having an embassy in India. Until then, until 1992, we had only a consulate in Pedder Road in Bombay for Israel. So this is briefly, it was after P.V. Narasimha Rao came in 1991, he gave full diplomatic relations. Not only that, he said, Bharat should not look west, Bharat should look, anybody can say? Bharat should look east, because Bharatiya Sanskrit culture is there in the east, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Cambodia, in Vietnam, in all these Thailand, all these countries. So, as far as the Arab Muslim countries are concerned, not Arab, Muslim countries are concerned, 62 of them, they are always condemning India. Friends, Israel was to be wiped off the earth. That's what the Arab countries thought. In 1967, before Egypt, because Nasser was saying that we wiped out, backed by the Soviet Union and the communist countries. So Israel preemptively destroyed all the air forces of Egypt and Syria and Lebanon and Jordan. It was called a 6-day war. Before the aircraft would come up, now all on 6 days, all the Arab countries were defeated. Similarly, Iraq, Jordan, Egypt, Syria, all of them attacked, or wanted to attack Israel. So that is the 1967 wonderful war. But what happened afterwards? 1983 there was, 1973 there was another war. It was called the Yom Kippur War. Most precious day, most holy day, holiest of the holy days for Jews. They were all in prayers. They were all in prayers. The army was almost as if they were all at home. And the armies of Syria and Egypt and Nasser attacked the what is called Yom Kippur War in 1973 October. Madam was the Prime Minister,
Golda Meir.
Golda Meir was the Prime Minister. There were over 60 tanks. Well, I mentioned this is what happened to Israel's valor. There were 60 tanks manned on the Golan Heights. Golan Heights like that, and Israel is like this. And 600 Syrian tanks attacked Israel. 60 of the Israeli tanks were able to stand 600 of them. And then that war was won by a great general, Ali al-Sharan. 5 lakhs of Egyptian soldiers were wanting to enter into Israel. So they said, first we will defend the Golan Heights because they are at the height and Israel can be wiped out. So you concentrate there. So what Ali al-Sharan did was, he found out in the night how to cross the Suez Canal. He crossed and surrounded 5 lakhs Egyptian army. No water, no food, no nothing, etc. And they sued for peace, lay down your arms and the uniforms and walk off. That's what was done. Then these are the type of valors. 2 or 3 more things that I would like to tell. In 1976, a Air France carrying about 120 Jews was hijacked and landed in Entebbe. Entebbe, capital of Uganda. And that was 1976. The Israeli Mossad organized a rescue operation. They landed there and freed all of them, killed all of the captors. That was a great thing. What happened to that type of valor to Israel now? Another thing, there was one man called Eichmann. He was the man who put 6 million Jews in gas chambers and killed them in 1935 to 1945, that decade under Hitler's rule. He was hunted. And they found him in 1960 in Argentina. They followed him, lifted him, put him in the aircraft, brought him to Israel, tried and hanged him in 1960. What happened to Mossad? How is it now that Mossad has failed to anticipate or to find out, to smell that this attack on Israel is going to happen? Now, take for instance the Twin Towers in New York, 2001, September 11. There were Roman bombs. These Saudi Arabian pilots smashed the aircraft into the Twin Towers. 2,996 people died in that building. 2,996 people died in that building. Now about 500 people are dead in the hospital by a misfired Hamas missile itself. 500 only. But 2,996 people were deliberately killed in that one. Take India, Bombay, 2008. The terrorists from Pakistan came and occupied Taj Mahal Hotel and other things. What has happened in Israel today is exactly a replica of that. They went into Israel in a hotel and a civilian home and caught them as hostages and killed them. Now what happened to our intelligence? What happened to US intelligence? What happened to the famed Mossad? One of the things is what is happening in Israel just before this event. Netanyahu was hiking the High Court. There are 2 countries in the world which do not have a constitution, written constitution. One One is United Kingdom, no constitution, written constitution. The second is Israel. So the Supreme Court judges in Israel are giving all kinds of judgments. So you control them, and there is a big controversy in that country, and it is that which has lulled them, lulled them into complacency. Same thing is happening in India now. It is but then about to arise the conflict between the Supreme Court and the government and the regional parties which are talking of federalism, which there is no such word in the 395 articles of the Constitution of India. There is no single word like federalism. So something is happening here in India also. Why I am mentioning this is we have to beware that if there is an internal dissension, our security, our intelligence may be imperiled, and there may be some sudden attacks. Now, what is happening is Hamas has, how did Hamas come into being? You know, there was what are called Camp David talks between Egypt's Sadat, he was the president of Egypt, Sadat, and the Begin, the Israeli Prime Minister, under Carter, Jimmy Carter, the President of the United States of America, in what is called Camp David, for 13 days the negotiations went on. Finally, Sadat recognized Israel, signed a peace treaty. Jordan and Israel, Egypt are the first two countries which signed peace treaties with Israel. So it has got a right to exist, and then other countries followed, etc. Now, those accords, that's called Camp David Accords. The next event, one most wonderful event was 1993 Oslo Accords. Oslo, capital of Norway, in that Yasser Arafat, who founded the Fatah, that means Italy. So that organization first vowed to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. There was what was called an Intifada, first in 1988 and afterwards in 2004 or so, Intifada means insurrection of the Palestinians. So in a special session of the United Nations in Geneva, Arafat declared that I want peace, no more wars. So it was followed by what are called the Oslo Accords, establishing the Palestinian Authority. First time the Palestinian government was recognized by Israel under the West Bank, whatever was under occupation, and the Gaza Strip, which earlier was under Egyptian occupation. So Gaza Strip, which is 365 square kilometers, 41 kilometers long, 6 to 12 kilometers wide here and there, etc., with a density of population of about 7,000 people per square kilometer. India's density is 460 people per square kilometer. That is 7,500 people. Of course, we have got Dharavi. Its density is 4 lakhs per square kilometers. 4.5 lakhs per square kilometer. Then that Gaza. So, when the Palestinian Authority was established, in 2005, Israel pulled its big army and settlements from Gaza back into Israel. In 2006, there were elections in the Palestinian Authority consisting of the West Bank of Jordan, of Palestine, of Jordan River and Gaza. The Hamas won the majority of the seats. Hamas won the majority of the seats and declared, I don't recognize this Palestinian Authority because it is making peace with Israel, whereas I want to throw the Israel out of the sea. So Hamas became the majority party, but confined to Gaza, and from then onwards he has been waging all types of war. Their Syria, and nowadays not North Korea is supplying the missiles to Hamas. North Korea to Russia to Gaza, that's what is happening, and Iran. So friend, this is the background. So what do we notice? Failure of the fabled Mossad, the intelligence arm, which so far, Mossad has destroyed an Iraqi nuclear facility by sending aeroplanes at about 200, 300 meters above the ground, undetected by Iraq. And it's called Fight Against the Sun. And it destroyed the nuclear facility that was in the making. Then in Iran, the uranium is to be used as the 235, 238, 235 is fissile, 38 is not. So there are centrifuge uses, which Iran was having hundreds of them. Now this time, Mossad did not send any man. It put a what we call in cyberspace a spyware, and it disabled the spinning, and they went out of control and destroyed themselves. Just like one of the Rakshasas in India who put his hand on his head and he died like that. So, how did Mossad fail? And what is that lesson? India failed when Bombay was attacked by the Pakistanis. America failed when the Twin Towers were destroyed. So, there is what is called Murphy's Law in communications technology, which says if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So something can go wrong, and therefore it has happened in case of Twin Towers, in Bombay attack, and now. Now, what is to be done? Does India, who is on whose side? They are terrorists. In the 19th century, there was a William Gladstone, who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 3 spells, 4 years each. In the House of Commons, he took that Quran and waved and said, as long as this book exists, there will be no peace in the world. As long as this book exists, there will be no peace in the world. And in India, we have got what is called the Calcutta Quran case. That is, some 80 ayats in the Quran, they spew venom and intolerance and incite theologically. If you are a loyal Muslim, you should hate others, you should kill others, continue jihad. Now Hamas has declared a jihad. But if you don't lead a miserable life on earth, if you kill the Kafirs, that is non-Muslims, you go to heaven. So all those riffraff who are having a miserable life, for them the choice is to go to Jannat, that is heaven, kill the Kafirs. So that is what they have declared. And this is happening, gentlemen, not only in Israel, not only in Palestine. Just now there is a book which I was reviewing. When the population of Muslims increases from 2%, 5%, 8% to 10%, what will happen? So by the time they come to about 10%, there will be any number of innumerable communal riots, which India has been a victim. So what is happening in Israel, the Hamas has declared jihad, which is supported by Iran and Syria, and it is worse than ISIS, that is Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They were doing, some of them troops from Kerala also went there. Anyway, that if you have read that the Kashmir files or have seen that one, you will put your notice. To summarize my submission, this is part of the ongoing war inspired by the theology in the Quran, inspired by the theology in the Quran, the theology of hatred And the example of beheading of the three tribes that were expelled, that were exterminated in Medina, in Medina by Prophet Muhammad, the third tribe, 800 Jews were lined up, asked to dig a trench, and under the presidency of Prophet Muhammad himself, they were all beheaded. Those people who were beheaded had to dig their own trench, dig their own graves, and somebody will come and cut and throw, come and throw. He sat there from 12 o'clock in the morning till evening. He saw a beautiful woman and said, "Come separate." Of course, he wanted her to marry, and she said, "I won't marry you. If you want to, I am helpless. You may keep me as your concubine if you want." She refused. But anyway, what I am saying is, the template has been set by Prophet Muhammad himself. The theology in Quran is imperialistic, and the number of those ayats which is pure intolerance and inside jihad has become a matter of in the High Court of Calcutta. That's called the famous Calcutta Quran case. The judge was a Maharashtrian lady, and from the questions she was putting, it was clear that she was going to ban the Quran. Then immediately Jyoti Basu appealed to the United Front government. They all came, they transferred the lady judge and put a community judge here and community judge. These are words of God. How can men sit in judgment on that? That's called the Calcutta Quran. So friends, the issue of war that is going, Islam is not a religion. It is a tool of Arab imperialism. There are any number of books on that one, and that's what you take, for instance, Salman Rushdie in 1980s, the fatwa was given to beheading him. Recently, a few months back, one Muslim in America wanted to kill him. Can you imagine that one? That is the type of hatred that is there, instilled from childhood from madrasa. And in India, please be warned, I am reading so many things that by 2047, India will be ruled by Muslims. This is the unfinished agenda of Islam. Nothing is wrong with Muslims, everything is wrong with Islam, because their theology is that one. So what they are saying is by 2047, the organization that was banned, PFI, Popular Front of India, we were preparing for that one. We shall first rule through surrogates. For example, West Bengal Chief Minister, Telangana Chief Minister, Bihar Chief Minister, and of course Kerala has been from the beginning, since the birth of the Communist Party in India, you have always been with the Muslim. So, now already a few states are under surrogates, Muslim surrogates rule. As Congress has weakened, the regional parties have come out. Dr. Ambedkar, in his wonderful famous book of 1941, has said India shall be divided, all Muslims shall be sent away to Pakistan, because in any case no Hindu and no Sardaji can live in Punjab. So, Nehru did not agree, Gandhi did not agree, so we are left with no province, which is no part of Pakistan, ever voted by the Muslim League. It is only the Muslims of what we call India, they voted. They created Pakistan, not the Pakistan party Muslims. They started supporting Punjab League was a unionist party, that was a normal unionist party of Sardaris and Hindus and Muslims. So here, Ayat Khan, etc. In Sindh, some other one, I forget again. So what Ambedkar wanted did not happen, because Nehru wanted the Muslims as bonded voters in this country, which they are. As long as Congress was strong, they were voting for them. Now it has become weak, Therefore, they are voting for the regional parties. They are voting for the regional parties. The latest in our state is that OIC has said every person who is denied a Congress ticket, I will give a ticket. He will give it. So friends, the prospect is, unless Hindus wake up, we will be divided by caste, and by 2047, in fact, OIC says that a lady Muslim rule will be the Prime Minister of this country, and that will be facilitated by the dynasty regional parties who are practicing of federalism. We are in the post-Mughal era, India, post-Mughal era, just like Nigeria declared independence in 1724. Similarly, every ruler declared independence, and one by one was conquered by the East India Company, trading company. So the lesson from what is happening in Israel for India is that unless Hindus see the peril that is looming, the 2047 will happen. Now, our intelligence agencies will have to be strengthened, and I was listening to him. He is going to tell something very great. That if somebody wanted to divide India, why they got India trying to divide the other two? So I will stop at this. I will be happy to take questions after all of my